Ba 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 ba. Da da da! Supergirl is here and is mixed reviewed. Yeah, so I saw Supergirl yesterday. I gave my out of theater reaction on it, and look, I stand by what I said in my out of the theater reaction yesterday. That I generally had a good time with the movie. But as I've sat with it a little bit more, heard some of the other things people have said and thought, well, I don't agree with that, but that I kind of agree with, and then I can kind of really stick my opinion a bit more here. So Supergirl's come out, starring I believe it's Millie Alcott as Supergirl. I said Superman. Supergirl's come out. Millie Alcott as Supergirl. And oh, man, yeah, 58% critics, 77% of the audience. We'll have to wait and see what the long term is going to look like for this. This one, it might not do so well, but it comes out. It's based on the Woman of Tomorrow comic, and really, what it is kind of not even a road trip movie, but it's sort of a road trip movie. It's the reluctant hero dealing with her baggage, is getting caught up in a cause. She has to go save Crypto, as we see in the trailer, obviously. And she's kind of forced to aid this young girl, and they're avenging her family. So that is really the crux of the movie. And where the movie succeeds, though, is the character of at its heart is Supergirl. And I do really like, first of all, the action's really good. I've never watched House of the Dragon, but I know she's in that series. She is very good in this role as this type of Supergirl. This instead of being optimistic and upbeat at first, like we kind of meet Supergirl in a lot of other medium, this is a Supergirl who's jaded, who's getting drunk on planets with red suns to basically just hide the pain of losing her family, losing her home. We actually get to see in the movie her past about what happened and with her home. And now I'm not talking about Krypton. She's from Krypton, yes, but I'm not talking about Krypton. I'm talking about with it's Argos, the city of Argos, because and there's going to be some minor spoilers here. It's nothing too egregious. You actually see a little shot of this in the trailer anyway. Argos is actually separated from Krypton and actually floats in space as the remaining Kryptonian population. And we get to see a little bit of what her life was like on that, and we can see why she had to be sent off. In essence, when it got here's the problem. There is some problems with the script now that I've sat more on it. And one of the problems is the reason she had to leave was everyone was dying of kryptonite that apparently got shaken up by the removing of the city from the planet. But that logic actually doesn't make any real, even scientific sense, even comic book sense, because if it was already there, like them removing the planet, moving that chunk of Earth from the planet, the kryptonite would have already been there. They already should have been getting sick. The only explanation you could give is that the radiation was already dissipating outward throughout the entire planet instead of being contained within this little section of city. I guess you could make that argument, but then it's like, well, wait. The kryptonite isn't even above surface. Radiation, well, and how much of that is the entire bedrock kryptonite or something? How much kryptonite is there that it took 8+ years, no, over 8 years, almost 20 years for it to eventually start to kill people? Like, it works, but it doesn't work. You understand? Like, the logic is like, ugh. It's a little rough, if I'm going to be honest. Even for someone like me who could let a lot go. I do like the fact, though, that it is pretty rough. Like, when they have to separate the city, you literally see the force field activate and rip through chunks of the city and kill people in order to save other people. So, I do appreciate that. What I'm not quite sure is how they're actually surviving when there's when there's only so much resources. I'm sure they figured out a way to harvest and grow crops, whatever, but still. So there's that. That's a minor issue I had. But on the flip side, the movie's not necessarily super brutal, but it does get brutal at points. We actually see, and this is another little spoiler, the bad guy straight out kill a family. In fact, we see them kill a couple kids. And I'm not talking about the main girl's family. I'm talking about we see another family like just get actually straight out killed by this guy. I'm like, whoa. And that does fit with the tone of the movie. I heard the description from the theater reviews that it was a mix of Guardians of the Galaxy meets Mad Max, and that does kind of fit this movie a little bit. It does have this weird post-apocalyptic vibe, depending on where you're going in the movie. In fact, in a lot of the movies, kind of like that. But it also does have a bit of the color grading and style of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which isn't inherently a bad thing. But I will say, and I agree with the people who say this, it does feel like this guy is trying to do a James Gunn film when he himself is not James Gunn. And you don't have to emulate someone else's work when we're trying to get different views and tones and directors in the DCU. Now, mind you, I think any cinematic universe should have consistency with its tone in general, but that doesn't mean you can't branch out and try different things within a within a universe. The MCU is a perfect example of this. While the majority of MCU movies feel like they are part of the same world, the majority of them, there are movies that do try to be something different. Obviously, Captain America, Brave New World is a Brave New World. Winter Soldier is a political thriller. Spider-Man is Spider-No Homecoming. It feels a little bit more like a John Hughes film in some ways. We go straight body horror many points in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So it's not like there's any versatility. It's not like the MCU is devoid of versatility, but there is a general tone where you throughout all these movies where you can feel they are connected and are the same film, right? Part of the same universe. This does feel like he's in the same universe as Superman, and Superman is in the film, and he's more than just a glorified cameo on a screen. No, he is in the movie for like a grand total of like 5 minutes, and his scenes are good. He's got solid scenes that make you just kind of like this Superman a little bit more. But yeah, you can see how it is definitely in the same universe as this film, definitely, as Superman. But again, like I said, the good stuff I think does outweigh the stuff that maybe doesn't quite work, and there might be a few other things I point out. But again, I do like Millie Alcott a lot in this role. Despite the fact the script might be not always the best, she is selling the line she's delivering. Very, very well. You can feel the heartbreak in her face. You can see it in her eyes, feel it in her soul. You get the other main girl. Look, I get it. I get what her lesson in moral is supposed to be, but I don't love this character a lot, especially because she is kind of like, oh, no, I get it. I get why she's like this, but she's very, I'm going to kill him no matter what. She's young. I believe she's 13. They say she's 13. And she's constantly repeating, like, oh, my father's for honor and all this. I'm like, okay, yep. Thank you. Moving on. And she's really not useful. That's the other thing. Apart from saving Kara at one point from something, she's really not. And really, that's like the only thing she ever does in the movie ultimately that is useful. Let me actually break it down. Like the end fight scene where Kara's just wrecking these, I think they're called the Brigands. This is the main faction of bad guys, where she's wrecking these guys. You see her throw a pot or like something at a guy's head at one point. It's like, aha, he did something. Cool, I'll take the rest. Like, yeah, it's like, the kid's kind of annoying at points, but other times she is likable. You do feel for what happened. So yeah, take him for what it's worth. The bad guy, Krem, I believe his name is. Here's the interesting thing. I don't know what species Krem is. He's strong enough though that he can throw hands with a Kryptonian briefly. Like he can catch vehicles one-handed. So I'm like, wait, what are you? I mean, most Kryptonians are often described as some of the strongest beings in the comics and even in the DC world. So what are you? I heard a lot of people say they didn't like the villain. I think he's worked for what he was, but the writing isn't great around him. The guy is playing it with a very sadistic cavalierness, which I like. Like he knows he does bad things, he likes that he does bad things, and he likes the reaction people have when he does bad things. But yeah, I can see where people wouldn't like him. For me, he worked enough. He worked enough. There is something though that got brought up that I'm like, even though I'm watching it, I'm like, he at one point you see him talking to Kara, like, oh, your eyes are beautiful, so much sadness, so much pain, like, um, uh, but he like poisons her with kryptonite arrows. I had these made special. I never thought I'd get you. Why did you make them then? Like, why did you make them? Like, you've already got on a planet that has a way to nerf her. So why did you make them? The problem, and I'd make the argument that maybe he made them once he realized what she was, but that's not what he says. So I'm like, wait, what was the point? But for all the roughness in this movie, I like Billy Alcott a lot. Jason Momoa's Lobo, I wish we had more of him. I do. Most of the writing on him is pretty solid. Some of it gets a little cartoony, but Lobo can be a little cartoony at points, and that's fine. But no, Jason Momoa rocks as Lobo. He really does. And honestly, I would love to see more of him. I think he did do a good job in the role, definitely. And I mean, it's a role he was born to play. I think a better script would have really sold him a bit more, but still, he really is fun. Just like you're making my head hurt. Get out, Mo. You're all useless. Happy birthday. Like I do like that. So Lobo's great. I heard someone say they didn't like the needle drops. Some of the needle drops didn't work. Like the needle drop in the very end, I wasn't really a fan of for the final fight. But there are other needle drops that I think worked really well. Especially with the fight scenes they kind of go with. And that being said, I do agree that I do agree with what someone says. Like, wait, why is a lounge singer in space singing 50s lounge music? Because I think there's a short and sad, the girls from Ipanema party. I'm like, why do you know that song? Wait, what? Like, even I'm listening, it's like, wait, what? That makes no sense. Now, let me put it this way. If you were singing it in, like, an alien language and we didn't know the words, and you could make an argument, oh, hey, that sounds like this song. But it's not, because it's an alien language. But, no. No, that's not what it was. But the action sequences, for what they are, a lot of them are fun. Some of them are shot a little rough, but a lot of them are fun, and, you can have a good time with them. So I would say that as well. So I mean, ultimately, it is a bit of a mixed bag, and the more I've sat with it, I do still like the movie. I do. If I were to give a rating score, I don't like giving ratings anymore. But if I were to give a rating score, 1 out of 10, 1 being actually like 0 out of 10, 0 being absolute dog shit, nothing of value in it whatsoever, and 10 being perfection. This falls maybe as a 5.5, 6, maybe if I'm nice, 6.5. It's above average, but it's not like top tier by any stretch of the means. But I enjoyed it. I hope it does well. Apparently it's made at least $100 million in just promotional sales alone. You can't count that towards the box office, but you can count it to whether or not the movie succeeds long term. The movie also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is actually made on a reasonable budget in comparison to something like Superman. Do I have a budget yet for this? Because I think I've heard like 160 or 100 for the budget was the 170. Okay, it is cheaper. I'd probably lean towards about 100 million in marketing is what I guess. So we're looking at a film that's, roughly speaking, gonna have to hit about 400 million to break even. If it can get to the 400 mark, it's gonna be close, but I'd say yeah, that's about even. What did we get for trailers, real quick here, if I can remember? I noticed that they didn't show anything for Minions for in a while, which is good because Minions comes out next week. There's no point to hammer in. Let's see here. What was it? We did not get Moana. No, not Odyssey. Not Spider-Man. Actually, what did we get? Okay, I know we got that was a Clara and the Sun. If I think that's the name of it. Or it's the one with oh God, Wednesday. Jen Ortega, where she plays an AI companion bot, and she's trying to learn people and try to save this family and all that. So that actually looks kind of cute. We had The End of Oak Street, the most recent trailer, which definitely adds a little bit more of the horror aspect to it, which I like. We had Clayface. Oh man, I'm waiting. There's actually a little bit more in this trailer than the last trailer, so that was actually pretty. I liked seeing that. Do you realize you have the most beautiful face in the world? Street Fighter, we got that. I won't deny it. I'm a Street Fighter. What else do we? I know we had like 5 or 6 trailers. Let me see here. Digger. Okay, this was very interesting because it's still not an actual trailer for Digger. It was like everything that like Tom Cruise has done up until this point, kind of, going over his career and then leading into like a brief 20-second spot for Digger. So that was whatever. I mean, I'm still looking for the movie from everything I'm hearing about the movie, but yeah. Either way, that's my thoughts. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. What do you think if you've seen the movie? Do you think you will see the movie? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.